Okay, so what I used for this pinata is a thin cardboard like this one, and I cut out a few strips, enough to make 2 circles and a U shape for the body. I used tape to secure the circles. You just want to make 2 round ones and then put tape on it. You can use glue if possible. What I also used was this brace to make the circle. It was just a scrap piece of cardboard that I had, and I cut 2 little slits on each side so that I can secure a round shape. I'm making more of an oval than a circle, but this is what it would look like whenever you do that. Okay, so I made a second one. This is going to help it be more firm so that when you're using the newspaper that it's not going to be all soggy and just kind of limp. This will be able to give it more of a spot for it to glue onto. Once you have all the newspaper fixed on there, you can remove these 2 little braces. These will be no longer needed. If you want to keep it, it's fine. I use Mod Podge, and I like to use a paintbrush to put the Mod Podge on. And if you have a cup you don't need anymore, you can use it in there. Also tape, newspaper, and scissors. And sometimes I use cardboard, but that's only for flat pinatas. Those makes it easier, but if you're going to need a round pinata, it's best to have a balloon, because then all you have to do is glue the layers on top of that. This is a good size balloon. Unless you need it to be huge, then you can get the bouncy ones. But anyways, these are the legs and the arms. These are 3 different options. This one's just a plain toilet paper roll. This one is a paper towel roll. It just looks like that because of the glue that they put on there for the paper towels to stay on there. And then this one is cardboard that is inside the wrapping paper. So, for the legs, I'm going to probably just do one of these. They're both about the same as far as the opening goes, the width of the leg. So it doesn't really matter which one I do. Just to, I guess if you needed it to be longer than this, then you could go with this and just cut to the size that you need. Which I think that's what I'm going to do, is just use this one and see how much do I need. Because, yeah, I can make it a little bit longer than this size. And then this one I think I'm going to do for the arms because it's thinner. See, you don't want the legs and the arms to be the same thickness. So I will go ahead and use this one for the arms and the paper towel one for the legs. So what we're going to do, so I'm using just a cardboard for the bottom. This is going to be the torso. So right here is what I'm going to do, is cut this out and then glue it to the torso. And then I'm going to cut out, well, before I glue it, I'm going to cut out circles for the legs so that we can stick the legs into the circles, and then we're going to put the whole body and everything in paper mache. So, yeah, so the next step what we're going to do is just go ahead and cut this, cut out the holes, and glue it. So first what we need to do is trace the shape that we need, the size, make sure it's going to fit through there. And then once we know that, we can cut out the circles, and then I cut little slits onto the toilet paper roll, and then I folded them down so that I can glue them to the base of the torso. So right here, this is what I've done, is bend all those little tabs down, and then I'm going to glue underneath them, and then I'm going to apply pressure by turning it around and then putting something on top of it. I put a candle and like a little statue type thing on top of it, but basically you want the legs, these 2 are the legs, and you want them to stick out, but you want it to be secured to this cardboard, so you're going to apply pressure by putting upside down. This right here is a toilet paper roll that I cut all the way down to almost the bottom of it. So you're going to fold this over, and then you're just going to have like a little bit that's connected together. And this is going to slide into the leg, and this is actually going to be the shoe. So once you slide it into the leg, you'll be able to see how far you need it to be, if you need to go lower or not. I actually had to cut down a little bit more just so that the foot wouldn't be sticking up so much. So this is a scrap piece that was the brace that I took out earlier, and I'm going to use it for part of the shoe by grabbing the bottom of the shoe and placing it onto there to see how much I need to cut. I'm going to only use a little bit, so I put it right here, cut right there, and then I'm going to tape it together. Okay, so I have taped it. This is what it looks like, kind of like a triangle with like a cylinder, half of a cylinder. Anyway, so this is the shoe, and it's going to slide into the leg, but we are going to Mod Podge some strips of newspaper. I'm still doing it dry first. After I do a couple of layers dry, then I'm going to do it wet. Right there is how it's going to look. I decided I want it to have a little bit, I want it to be a little bit taller, so there's going to be a gap. That's why it's open right there, because it's not long enough. So that's just the way it is. So this gap right here is going to be covered with newspaper. I will glue it onto the sides and wrap it around, and then it's going to be like this. I wrap it all the way up to the top, and this is it with all the dry newspaper. So this one right here was a paper towel roll that I cut in half. I just kind of guesstimated on how much I wanted it to be or how long I wanted it to be. I rolled up a newspaper, it's a couple of sheets of newspaper, and then I slit it in between, and this is what it looks like. So one is I'm going to have it split in the center so that the center part is like bendable, so that I can bend it and glue it to the top or tape it, and the two toilet paper or the two paper towel roll parts are going to be firm for the arms, and this part will be able to bend so that I can make it part of the body. We've only done dry newspaper at this point, and what I'm going to do next is the paper mache part. Usually I would use the paper mache paste, but I love how fast Mod Podge dries, so I'm going to use a watered down Mod Podge, and we're going to do 2 layers all over the body. Normally I put the string at the top and I just put like 2 holes and tie it up, and that's it. But since this one is going to be a heavy lower part, I don't want the head holding all of the body by a string. So this time I'm actually going to put the string through the body. I think I'm going to go down here and around. Then I'm going to stick it through the head, and then the string's going to be coming from the top. So I'm going to put the string on next, and then put 2 layers of wet Mod Podged newspaper, and then I'm going to put the cover of, I'm going to cover it entirely in brown packaging paper, because I don't like the newspaper to be visible at all through the streamers or paint or whatever. Tissue paper, whatever I decide to put on the top. So I like to cover the newspaper completely with brown packaging paper. So right now I'm just going to do the string, and then I'm going to do the 2 layers of Mod Podge and the brown paper over it, and then all we have to do is the decoration part left. So this is what it looks like so far. These arms are not going to be straight across like that. I haven't taped them yet, so what I'm going to do is like bend it a little bit behind. I'm going to tape it, and then I'm going to do 2 layers of wet Mod Podge to stay on there. So it's going to actually be like that. So, and then I'll do hands. I think what I'm going to do is cut these into fingers so that's already connected to each other. Alright, so that's what it looks like so far. I'm really excited, and hopefully it comes out the way I want it to.